these players in the Balmain side are absolute idols and heroes. There's the kick-off, the ball trapped in the in-goal by the centre three-quarter Calvé, and straight away Port Moresby wrestle to the ground inside their own 22. The referee for this clash tonight is Graham Annesley. Back it goes from Henny. Long kick. Oh, it's a chance now for Balmain. Over the top goes the second row forward Sinclair, and Henny is the man that goes into dummy half. Running from the dummy half position, slip tackle of Clark. Away Wakisi, the sack by Clark and also by David Brooks. So he's slowly to his feet. They work towards the blind side. Once again, the kick into touch on the full. So not a bright start for the Port Moresby side. Graham Hughes, that would do little to enthuse their confidence in this match.
It's something you'll probably expect in the first quarter in this game tonight. A lot of errors from the Port Moresby side. Just remember that Balmain, there's a lot of reserve graders out there trying to impress Billy Anderson tonight, just to remind him that they're in form and playing well and ready to jump into the spot should any of the more prominent players be out injured.
Well, here goes Bevan skirting that blind side, and he's taken in the tackle by the right winger, Sauner. He's to his feet now. Davidson with the play of the ball. It goes out to Gale. And Maguire taking play upfield, but some good defence by the 5'8" Keeler. Balmain on the attack again through Gale and Clark, and then to Brooks, and he's taken in the tackle 2 or 3 metres out from the goal line at Port Moresby's end of the ground. Elias with the switch of play again to Gale, out to Maguire, back to Gale again. A chance now for Balmain. Scotty Gale darting, weaving for the line, try. So a bright start to Balmain. They open the scoring in the very first minute as the black and gold banners fly high at Leichhardt Oval. Remembering they're playing on their home ground. Constant pressure from the Balmain side. Scotty Gale had a big hand in it. Just rewarded to the end by being there to score the try, but some very, very feeble defence. The last man to wrap him up there was Jackets, the prop forward, and Scotty Gale over for try number 1.
And a very quick call from Scott Gale to Ben Elias. He saw that they were short out wide. They didn't fill in back on the inside, the defensive line. You'll see this right throughout the night. Quick changes of play. They're just not used to the defensive patterns of Sydney Rugby League. And an easy one first up for Scott Gale.
So Balmain in the lead by 4 points to 0. Remembering that this Port Moresby side kept in touch with Eastern Suburbs in the corresponding match at Lang Park last year. They trailed by only 16 points to 10 at half-time in that game. And as I mentioned in the start of the program, 6 players survived that particular match to come down and represent their city again in this National Panasonic Cup match. So Ross Conlon about to convert Scotty Gale's 3rd try of the 1987 season. Conlon was, of course, in doubt before this match started, but he's opened with a magnificent conversion attempt. So the scoreline here at Leichhardt Oval, Balmain lead Port Moresby by 6 points to 0. Well, Graham, let's hope that that isn't the start of the floodgates opening here at Leichhardt Oval, because this side have scored many, many good tries, apparently, in the qualifying matches leading up to earn the right to play against Balmain tonight. And I know that they love to throw this football around, but obviously their defence is a little bit lacking.
The defence has always been suspect. They were defeated by the Eastern Suburbs, I think, 60-14 last year. And what you'll see from Balmain is a constant change in the pattern of play. They'll go 1 or 2 to the middle, try and bring it back to blind sides. They'll play blind sides a lot because, as I said, for that first try for Scott Gale, this Port Moresby side's just not used to the pace, nor the switches of play, trying to undo defensive patterns like they do in the Sydney Whitfield Cup. But as you say, they like to throw the ball around, and they are an exciting side that have to run the ball, and let's hope that they get plenty of chances with that tonight.
So Balmain working up towards halfway in the 4th of the set of 6 tackles. A switch again. Gale kicking it deep over the head this time with the fullback Triwanti. He's allowing the ball to bounce. Picks it up about a metre out from his own line and runs straight into the wall of defence of 2 or 3 Balmain defenders, led that time by the centre three-quarter Gavin Hanrahan. 6 points to 0. Balmain in the lead. That's Soy, a dummy half. Long kick downfield for Stephen Humphreys, the replacement fullback for the international man Gary Jack. He immediately runs around Sauner on the right wing, but he comes back to effect the tackle with the help of the lock forward Kururu. Now Humphreys for Gale. Brooks on the charge inside the 22. Bumping run by the big second row forward. And finally the centre three-quarter Covey, the man that played fullback for Port Moresby at Lang Park last year, wrapped him up in the tackle. Gale through the dummy, taken in the tackle by now the halfback for Port Moresby. Elias a dummy half, again towards the open side through Bevan, and that's a bad mistake by Paul Bevan. The top grade after starting with the first 3 matches in the Winfield Cup in '87. Gets another chance from his coach Bill Anderson tonight with the injury to Phil Sigsworth. So the second scrum of this match fed by Moala Now of the Air New Guinea Club in Port Moresby, his first year in senior football. It's a scrum win, as now darts around that open side to dive on the ball. So going into dummy half is Waketsi, the second row forward. Tries to bump off the first tackle, unloaded the pass, and play inside the 22. Joe Tepp left the ball behind him, and that's where we'll see another scrum. In fact, that was Waketsi again, the second row forward, the man that lost possession. And so yet another scrum. The third of the match will pack down inside that Port Moresby 22-yard line. So Scotty Gale to work the scrum. Don't be surprised to see Humphreys link up on the blind side as they try to exploit the short side here, but a penalty goes against Port Moresby, the differential penalty. So Gale will be the man that will drive the ball into touch on the grandstand side of Balmain's home ground here at Leichhardt Oval. So this will be another test for the Port Moresby defence. Maguire was the man the dummy went to. That's Davidson. Runs straight upfield, taken in the tackle by Matt Milo. Elias quickly a dummy half. Here's Hardwick charging at the line. And the lock forward Karuru was the man that went over the top. Now the switch of play again to the open side. Brooks pivoted, came back in. Over the top went Covey, and he's wrestled to the ground. Once again, Benny Elias dictating play from dummy half. Clever play by Covey. And finally, big Joe Tepp is the man that is claimed in the tackle. Hardwick, good solid defence on Sai. He's a test player in this Port Moresby side. He's represented his country. Watkisi, the ball kicked finally by Keeler. Going back as the lock forward Karuru. But play will be restarted with the goal line dropout. So obviously, Graham Hughes, as we watch this in replay, this Port Moresby side under intense pressure in the opening minutes.
Plenty of nerves from the Port Moresby side. They're trying to rush things. What they're better off doing at this stage in the first quarter, just to help themselves get settled, is probably just to have some of their ball runners run the ball out from the dummy half position, just to try and get themselves away from their line. They're trying to throw the ball out too close to their line, and that's going to, well, as you see, it's come up with a line dropout now and 6 tackles to Balmain, who will just try and set themselves in the middle of the paddock and create an option both sides of the field.
Benny Elias running from dummy half. He's claimed by Henny and also by Matt Milo. Henny, of course, was a man that trialled with Parramatta earlier this year. Out with Brooks. In turn for Clark. Back for Gale. Balmain swing into full action, but that's a bad pass. It goes into touch on the far side. And once again, we'll see that scrum packed down about 5 metres out from the 22-yard line at Port Moresby's end of the ground. Well, Balmain have done everything right under new coach Bill Anderson in season 1987, and no doubt hell-bent and trying to really rub Port Moresby's nose into the ground here tonight. They've got a lot of pride to maintain, particularly in front of their home crowd here tonight at Leichhardt Oval. Hardwick with a damaging tackle over the top. Henny, dummy half. They move out this time through Sai. Stepping run by Sai, claimed in the tackle, centre field inside the 22. Henny again. There's the kick downfield by Nuala Now, and that's a good kick that'll take play up towards the halfway line. So the clever tactical kick from the young 21-year-old halfback in this side. We've got quite a number of players, 5 in fact, that played against the Australian side for Papua New Guinea before the Australian side embarked on that tremendous march through Britain and France. There's a good run from the scrum base from Now, but good cover defence from Gale. So it's Port Moresby, in fact, now with the ball on attack for the first time in this match. Hanrahan affecting the tackle. Watkisi now back towards Matt Milo. Matt Milo unloaded the pass well. And again, some solid defence. The player to his feet was Henny. Now for Kovai, little kick over the top. That's clever play. Watch for Sauna coming through here. Oh, and Humphreys came across, but he's been ruled in an offside position, and the penalty will relieve the pressure on Balmain right near their own goal line. But a ton of pace on the right wing by Wata Sauna from the Air New Guinea club in Port Moresby. He's an uncapped player, only in his second year of senior football. Scotty Gale looking for touch, taking play about 10 metres out from the Balmain line. They lead by 6 points to 0 in this first quarter of the National Panasonic Cup match, coming to you from Leichhardt Oval. Davidson taking play up towards the 22. Once again, Elias, a dummy half. Out for Sinclair, a charging run upfield. Sinclair, a country lad, his second season with the Balmain club, and a player that Bill Anderson has big raps on. Another country player in the side is the man in possession of the ball, the ex-Tamworth player, David Brooks. Run upfield by Paul Clark. Well, he had his spurs this year with the injury to Big Steve Roach, but he really has performed very well at the top grade in the 8 rounds so far in the Winfield Cup. But the knock-on this time by Crewenti, and the referee, Graham Annesley, no hesitation whatsoever in ruling the knock-on about 11 metres out from the goal line, Port Moresby's end of the ground. 6 points to 0 with Balmain in the lead.
Here's Ian Baker-Finch with a very difficult shot to the green. And
so the scrum feed now to Balmain. Gale to work the scrum. That didn't go in as per the requirements of referee Graham Annesley. I think Gale will have a picnic at the back of the scrum for Balmain tonight if the first few minutes of this game any indication. But this time the penalty goes against the Balmain front row, and the penalty goes in fact to Port Moresby. So the man to look for touch on this side is Bernard Waketsi. Third year, in fact played 3 years of Test football. He didn't find touch. Here goes Humphries charging up this grandstand touchline. So the first penalty in the first half for Port Moresby, they don't find touch. It allows Balmain to come back on attack through Clark. Wouldn't believe that a man with the experience of Test football of Waketsi would not find touch. Elias, Maguire, only about 5 metres short. They're very thin on the open side as it goes through Gale, in a turn for Bevan for Hanrahan. And he's taken in a good tackle that time by the centre three-quarter Kepi Sai. Well, his centre partner Dari Kovai comes up with possession for Port Moresby just on their own goal line. Run upfield by Kepi Sai. Waketsi from dummy half, claimed by his opposite number Sinclair. Play on the 22 at Port Moresby's end of the ground. They trail by 6 points to 0. There's the kick from now, high in the air. Coming across is Davidson. Coming onto it is Humphries. He took it beautifully. Ran towards Sauner, got the pass away to Davidson, but good cover that time by Kotaru, the lock forward, and also the assistance of Tony Keeler, the 5'8". Connell now for Bevan, for Gale, then for Elias. That's Bevan with the ball. Long pass over the top for Grounds, took it beautifully. But the cover defence is there, and a good tackle it was by Arnold Crewenti, the young fullback for Port Moresby. Balmain still on the attack. Sinclair hitting it up off the ruck. Can't quite get to the try line. Roy Henney was the man that came over the top. Elias spinning it through Gale, then to Clark, back to Gale, and Gale taken by Keeler, the 5'8". Now Hanrahan. Not a good pass. The knock-on by Humphries. And Graham Hughes, I don't think these early tactics of Balmain, the way they haven't controlled the ball against Port Moresby, would please their coach Bill Anderson.
Well, they're just trying to stretch the ball and run this Port Moresby side around as much as they would. On a couple of occasions on that last play of the ball, I expected them to switch the play. Port Moresby were 2 and 3 men short back on that right side. They've come up with the ball. Half the number upset position that is reaching over and knocking the out of his hands. He's either got to get a lot of this, maybe get him.
I wonder how the felt about this match here.
Very unusual night with 30.
Grounds, too much pace for the cover. Great try to Balmain. So Peter Grounds, with a chance in the top grade, has come up with Balmain's second try, and it was purely a case of Balmain stretching this Port Moresby defence out wide, and Peter Grounds capitalising on the opportunity. Clark was the man that ran wide, then Bevan. He went on the outside of his man Kovai, Great pace by Grounds, gave his opposite number Soy no chance whatsoever, and despite the cover defence of Kawani, the 4-pointer came up with Balmain.
Balmain have been threatening to catch them out wide for the last 5 minutes. A good cut-out pass from Bevan. Soy well and truly off his line, left his own winger alone, and Grounds just too much pace, did well to take the tackle of the fullback and score out wide.
Second try for Balmain, scored by Peter Grounds. He's a Balmain junior that joined Eastern Suburbs from Balmain in 84 and 85, but had the 86 season off and gained a contract with Balmain again this year. And he's no doubt pleased his coach, Bill Anderson, with a try, the second for Balmain in this first quarter. So Ross Conlon, the ball placed on that far side of Leichhardt Oval, probably would know every blade of grass on this particular ground. He's kicked some mighty goals here over the last couple of years. Let's wait the outcome of this attempted conversion. He's got the height, he's got the distance. Is the accuracy there? No, it's been waved away. So the scoreline in this National Panasonic Cup match, first round clash between Balmain and Port Moresby. Balmain in the lead by 10 points to 0. So the restart of play by Port Moresby. I just wonder, Graham Hughes, whether they can come back into this match. Their defences look very suspect out wide, although their forwards have tackled with a great deal of determination.
The only thing they're not used to is the pace. They continue to stand back in defence. As you see the Balmain forwards run the ball up, they get to make the advantage line very, very easy. And every time they take it, David Brooks there finding himself an easy 10 to 15 metres. Again, Clark will catch the ball. They stand and wait. This gives a lot of time for Balmain just to position themselves and set up for the ball out wide, which Scotty Gale's called.
Well, here they go again on attack with Bevan. It goes out now to Conlon. Conlon's got Humphreys in the line, stretching the cover defence again. The little kick and chase. Oh, it's been lost by the fullback Kawani, but the referee rules no try as Davidson put the pressure on. And the National Panasonic Cup replay will see Humphreys down this touchline. Good tactics, the kick and chase. Kawani, the fullback, came across under no pressure whatsoever. He spilled it. And also Davidson spills it as well. So taken upfield that time by Jackas. Now the lock forward Coraroo, wrestled to the ground by Maguire and Elias. Then a dummy half is Henny. Then it goes out through now. Keeler got the pass away to Kovai, and he's taken in the tackle by Kevin Hardwick out wide. Now, little dummying run, kicked upfield. Humphreys coming across. Took the ball 10 metres in his own end of the ground. Taken on the far side by Soy. Hanrahan now a dummy half. Out for Hardwick, the wraparound with Hanrahan. Comes to Jackas, the prop forward, and driven to the ground. Scotty Gale now. Again, we saw Keeler go low. Tepe over the top. Hardwick, bumping run upfield. Henny this time was the man that went high. Keeler underneath. Benny Elias skirting from dummy half. Out to Davidson. He had to go back to pull that pass in before he was claimed in the tackle by Watasauna. The ball finally into touch. It's 10 points to 0 in this first quarter. It was taken through that time by Dadi Kovai. He was the man, as I mentioned earlier, played fullback in the Port Moresby side at Lang Park last year. Conlon, Humphreys in the line again. Hanrahan with a ton of pace. Has got Grounds on his outside, but he was well taken in the tackle by Marla Soy, the left winger for the Port Moresby side. Bevan showed the ball, turned it back in field again, but the referee has ruled the forward pass, and that's where we'll see the scrum go down. Well, Graham, here's the Port Moresby side. Have kicked the ball on 6 occasions before the 4th tackle. Quite interesting tactics against a seasoned side like Balmain.
Well, that's perfect kicking tactics in a game like the National Panasonic Cup, but in a situation where you're well and truly down in your own quarter, they've been giving them the football back only on halfway. On occasions, the Stephen Humphreys has been receiving the ball, and in 1 or 2 tackles, all of a sudden, Port Moresby are under pressure again, and here's a great chance for Balmain right now. The siren has sounded, but a chance for Balmain to put on a move and maybe turn that score around from 10-0 to 16.
So Scotty Gale in the dying seconds of this First quarter here at Leichhardt Oval, already enjoying that 10-point lead. Let's see what their set play will be. The ball hoisted in the air by Elias. Conlon is flying. Davidson's lost it and finally dived on. The referee says no try and blows the whistle for the end of the first quarter of this National Panasonic Cup first round class as we watch the dying seconds on the National Panasonic replay. Certainly a chance for Balmain. The ball went loose. And finally, it was the centre three-quarter, Kepi Sai, for the last moments of play in the first quarter. The scoreline, Balmain lead by 10 points to nil. More action of the second quarter coming up to nil. Tries in the first half to Scotty Gale and Peter Grounds, and 1 goal from 2 attempts from the centre three-quarter, Ross Conlon. David Brooks with the restart of play for the second quarter. And Port Moresby, Graham Hughes with the job ahead of them.
Well, they certainly have. What they've got to do is just try and concentrate on cutting down whatever errors they're making, although it's very hard because their approach to the game is very unorthodox, the way they like to toss the football around, but the way they continue to keep on making mistakes and really not settling down with a good kicking game. They've just been able to turn the ball over for Balmain 2 or 3 times, which have led to a couple of tries, and it's well and truly on the cards that that's going to be the same way they're going to start this second quarter.
Well, there's Joe Tepe, the big prop forward. His prop forward partner, Robert Jackas, is the man that goes into dummy half. It goes back to the little halfback now. Drives play upfield, taken by Peter Grounds on the right wing for Balmain. Tried to get around Soy, his opposite number, but he was taken in the tackle and put to ground. So Balmain on the attack again, remembering they've scored 2 tries in the first quarter. In an enterprising display, they've thrown the ball around. Here's Brooks charging upfield, centre of the ground. Takes on 3 or 4 of the defenders, led by the second row forward, Waketsi. And he's finally put on the ground. Elias at dummy half. Goes towards the far side. Oh, look at the charge by Sinclair upfield. And he's met with a wall of defence just a metre out from the line. Elias again at dummy half. Looking for Brooks. Through the dummy, put the head down in typical fashion. Sinclair's there to lend a hand. But Elias held up just a metre out. Sinclair charging for the line. That looks as though he's been held up in goal. No try awarded. Referee Graham Annesley right on the spot. See the turnover of possession. So Port Moresby, that's the replay. Taken this time by the prop forward, Robert Jackas, who broke his arm in Lang Park last year after scoring 1 of the 2 tries by Port Moresby in that corresponding match last year. Roy Henney, Jackas again. Good solid defence over the top by Sinclair. Tepe to his feet. Back to now. Long floating pass. Kavai left it behind. Picked up by Conlon. Pass back in field for Bevan. Bevan trying to pop the pass out again. But good defence by Cotaroo, the lock forward. Elias. Davidson crashed over in the corner. Third try to Balmain, and it came oh so easy so early in the second quarter. Constant pressure by the Balmain Tigers. We'll look at it again on the National Panasonic replay. Elias switching play to his wing three-quarter, and brute strength got John Davidson over in the end.
Very simple try by Johnny Davidson. The defence just waiting on the try line, not going out to meet him. All he had to do was take the brunt of the tackle and fall across the try line. Here they are, just planting themselves on the line. Again, easy for John Davidson.
Well, despite the defence there of Sauna and Covey, the centre and winger for Port Moresby, John Davidson crosses for try number 4 in season 1987. But he's left his goal kicker, Ross Conlon, with probably the toughest kick you'd ever get. It's about 2 inches in from touch on this grandstand touchline. But we've seen Ross Conlon kick so magnificently over the season. Nothing is ever beyond this man. Let's see what he can do. Probably one of the most relaxed goal kickers in the Sydney League. Let's see this attempt from touch. He struck it beautifully. Have a look at that. That is an absolute gem. And so the scoreline changes once again at Leichhardt Oval. Balmain in the lead by 16 points to nil. And Graham Hughes, you don't see too many better goal kicks than that one.
Well, it was on the perfect side for Ross Conlon on his right foot, and he just loves putting them over. And look at that, the way he curled that around and planted it completely over the black spot.
So Port Moresby with the restart of play through the 5'8", Tony Keeler. And Balmain launch into attack again. Humphries is the man that takes the ball outside the 22 before he was met in the tackle by the lock forward Corora. Elias. for Brooks on the open side. Hanrahan, stepping run, came back infield. Over the halfback Koala now. Balmain running rampant here as Maguire's play up by line. Elias, dummy half, out for go. Turning them around again with a kick over the top. Defence. Attack Conlon. Kenny running from which is off. There's the from now. Putting pressure on. Will they get the tickets through this Keeler? Up over, keeping it on the through this time at Milo. But finally it's Davidson and it's the day for Balmain. Well, they'll have to run in this open space. Graham's taken in the tackle. Cut out Hardwick and gave it to Elias. A good tackle on the far side by the lock forward Karuru. Now Brooks. Karuru again going low in the tackle. Elias. Well, that's 3 tackles in a row by the lock forward. He's not a big man. Gibden Karuru, who's played no test matches but has been a zone representative in Port Moresby. And so far 12 tackles midway through this second quarter of play. Around the legs that time went Bruce Maguire. Good solid tackle. Kepi Sai running backwards and sideways. But at least they've hung onto the ball for 4 tackles so far. Sauna ran square, ran straight into Brooks and Maguire. I wouldn't suggest he does that too many times tonight. Little halfback now, a dummy half. Watkisi lost the ball and left it behind him and finally dived on by Ross Conlon. So Balmain again, switching it again towards the grandstand side. Grounds to his feet. Now Clark. Maguire. Over the top went Sauna. Underneath went the centre 3/4 Kepi Sai. Gale. Good run by Sinclair. But Henny was the man that went low. Gale. Out for Bevan. A chance now for Balmain to move it out wide. Bevan turned it back inside for Hardwick. Hardwick's got too much strength. He's over the line. Can he get the ball down? The referee says no try. So again on the national Panasonic replay, Kevin Hardwick brushed through the tackle of Kepi Sai. Let's see whether or not he did get the ball down. In fact, it was good play that took by Robert Jackas, who came over the top, and finally the ball was jolted loose. Here's Sauna. Sauna up over towards halfway. Scotty Gale's pace coming in cover. He's got Soy in support. Gave the pass to Soy. He's inside the 22. Nowhere to go. And the Balmain defence converges. But the crowd warming to this Port Moresby attack. It goes out through Keeler. In turn for Watkisi. A long pass this time. It's been knocked down. 6 more to go as the fullback Trawanti with the ball now. And now we've got Michael Matmilo going into dummy half. Going towards the open side. Watkisi to Jackas, the prop forward. And he was taken in the tackle by Clark. Covey running from dummy half. And they're opening up a few gaps in this Balmain defence. Now's the man with the ball. Linking up is Trawanti. But good defence by Sinclair. Tackles him inside the 22. Covey at dummy half. Puts the ball high in the air, but it's not well directed. And taken by Scotty Gale. He's lost it. And 6 more tackles to go as Tepi gets to his feet. Karuru now. Keeler. Back for Watkisi. Now the halfback does the little chip over the top. Watkisi coming through, but it's taken finally in the end goal by Sinclair. And play will be restarted with the goal line dropout. But all of a sudden, some pressure applied by the Port Moresby side. And I can tell you the crowd are warming to that. They want to see a little bit more action from our visitors here tonight at Leichhardt Oval. Well, one man that's not a visitor to Leichhardt Oval, he would dearly love to be out there tonight, is the Balmain international prop forward Steve Roach, and he's on the touchline with Graham Hughes.
Steve, that's a little bit more like what you come to expect from these guys. You played against them in New Guinea on the way through the 86 Kangaroos.
Yeah, that's right, Graham. You've got to keep moving up on them. They're so small and so quick that they shot the ball anywhere, and they hope for the best.
And they're not used to playing under lights. They're more like their own home ground with about 15,000 biased Papuan.
Oh, that's right, mate. It's a big thing for them, and it's a big thing for rugby league for them to come here. I think it's great.
Well, we're about to see them try and put some points on the board. How are you progressing with your knee injury?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I start running on next Tuesday, so start jogging next Tuesday, so hopefully it'll progress really quickly from there.
And Balmain just keep on clearing out.
Mate, I'll be lucky to get back in the side the way they're going. I'm too old to play in the 23s.
You're about set to shake hands with the reserve grade coach.
Yeah, mate, I've been talking to him a bit lately.
All right, thanks, Steve.
Thanks, mate.
And great to hear the voice of Steve Roach. And I can tell you, Balmain on top of the premiership after 8 rounds of the Winfield Cup. And what a great thought it'll be to see Steve Roach coming back around about a few weeks before that final playoff series. But the man with the ball placed is Dari Kavai. He's only 20 years of age. He's played 3 test matches for Papua New Guinea. And he told me earlier today that his goal kicking hasn't been all that flash. He stabs at the ball and raises the flags. Probably not the best style of a goal kicker, but he's put first points on the board for Port Moresby. And the scoreline here at Leichhardt Oval, Balmain 16, lead Port Moresby 2.
It's a one-finger exercise.
So after the restart of play, Trawanti, the fullback, and I just wonder, Graham Hughes, how much that will lift the confidence of Port Moresby.
Well, it'll give them plenty of confidence now. Starting to back each other up, making a few breaks. They're starting to see a lot more of the football. Or, as I say, the more errors that they continue to make, that's going to keep ticking over for Balmain. They're very keen. They're showing plenty of enthusiasm the way they chased a couple of kicks and backed each other up. Points might give them a little bit of a spur. Take Balmain a bit more keener to blot them right out in the second quarter.
Interesting statistic on to the scoreline in this National Panasonic Cup. First round, Leichhardt Oval, Balmain lead by 22 points to 2. Well, as we mentioned at the top of the telecast, and won a spot in the side tonight with Matt Carter's injury. Very powerful defender, and also with a ton of pace, and no doubt will get a chance to exploit that on the left wing for Balmain tonight. So the kick from Scotty Gale takes play about 8 metres inside Port Moresby's end of the ground. You're watching this first round clash in the National Panasonic Cup from Leichhardt Oval in Sydney. It's a good front-on tackle that time by Joe Tepp. He's played representative football since 1982 and has played 4 times for his country. Maguire charging upfield. Again, Karuru, the man with the tackle. Now Brooks, quick hands for Clark, and in turn for Sinclair. Popped it back again for Clark. Good hands for Elias. Through the dummy. Stood in the tackle for Hardwick. Balmain on the attack. Kevin Hardwick finally taken by Teppy in the tackle. Elias running from dummy half. Maguire, and a chance for Maguire, and Bruce Maguire goes over. 5th try for the Balmain side. And again, the man unloading the final pass. The man that's having a ball out there tonight, little Benny Elias. Watch it again on the National Panasonic replay. He loves this situation, Elias. And look at the power of big Bruce Maguire. Pushes through Henny's tackle, try number 5.
Very simple. Ben Elias read it again that they were thin out wide. He cut out the long ball. There was a half gap there for Maguire to storm onto, only having to take the tackle and go in for a try. Ben Elias magnificent out of the dummy half area, very quick to scoot out of that dummy half play. A beautiful pass that's put Maguire right into the half gap.
So 2 of the 6 replacements in this Balmain side have now gone over for tries, as Balmain take total control of this first round clash in the National Panasonic Cup. Ross Conlon with another attempt. Can he make it 4 from 5? Oh, he's striking the ball beautifully tonight. Another goal for Ross Conlon. Balmain 28, lead Port Moresby 2. So another change in the Balmain side. Graham Hughes, can you bring us up to date with that?
An early one for Scott Gale from his coach Bill Anderson. Scott's left the field. Out there in 15 is Peter Camro.
And Peter Camro, the reserve grade halfback, came on as replacement for Michael Neal against Parramatta. Equally a good kicker in general play. We'll see that come to evidence tonight, and he'll be out to also impress his coach Bill Anderson. So there's been a knock on both ways, and that's where we'll see the scrum go down. It's about 11 metres inside Balmain's end of the ground. Another Balmain junior is Peter Camero. And he's actually forced Michael Neal out of that half-back role in reserve grade. So that's not a bad rap for the man that is in possession of the ball right now. He's wearing number 15. Bevan's the man that slots in a dummy half. It goes out through Conlon. Hanrahan pushes off the centre three-quarter side and takes play over the halfway line. Well, Graham, here's Ross Conlon was in a bit of doubt before this match, but he seems to be running quite freely on that injured ankle and is kicking goals superbly out there tonight.
That's something that will please Bill Anderson. I think he was probably looking for a good performance from Conlon this evening. A little bit quiet on Sunday against North Sydney, and also a little bit shoddy. He wants him in touch, especially. He's so valuable, worth his weight in gold as a goal kicker.
Well, that ball passed through about 10 sets of hands as Balmain take the ball inside the 22. Watch for Elias again from dummy half, switching to the blind side. Camero with a little kick we spoke about, but coming across is Crawley. He takes the ball and runs it into touch on the far side as the hooter sounds for half-time in this National Panasonic Cup match, with the scoreline that feeds from Leichhardt Oval. Balmain 28, Port Moresby 2. We'll be back with more action of back to the second half of this National Panasonic Cup match between Balmain and Port Moresby. Balmain in the lead by 28 points to 2. Graham Hughes, any changes to either side?
Well, there was those 2 late changes in the Balmain side. Of course, John Davidson was off. Peter Davies out there in 14. Scott Gale left the field just before half-time. Peter Camera was out there in 15. Mike Makito is now out there in 17. He's gone to the front row, forcing Bruce Maguire to the second row, and the man to come off is David Brooks. And in the Port Moresby side, off is the front rower Robert Jackas, and on in 14 is Tati Avara.
Well, Avara, of course, was a reserve also against Eastern Suburbs last year at Lang Park. A zone representative from Port Moresby. We will look at his performance in this second half with great interest as Clark goes charging upfield for Balmain. They enjoy that 26-point lead at the half-time break. They, in fact, scored 5 tries in the first half. There's a good kick for touch that will put Balmain right on the attack in the opening minutes of this second half. It's the little kick, it rolled end on end, and it found touch probably about 2 metres short of that corner post. So really a great attacking position so early in the second half for the Tigers. Scrum packs down, scrum feed. Now the halfback through the dummy. Nicely taken to the tackle by Bevan. So Port Moresby with the chance to run it out from their own 22. That's the lock forward, Gibdon Kotaru, who worked tirelessly in the first 40 minutes. Henny driven back in the tackle. In fact, it's the second row forward, Matt Milo. Solid defence again by the Balmain Tigers. The replacement, Ivara, outside the 22. Now, Keeler. Stepping run by the centre three-quarter Sai. Kavai. Good run by Kavai. Up towards the 22. Slipped over the top of, under the top of Conlon's tackle. Final tackle for Port Moresby. There's the kick from the little halfback, Moala now. Peter Davies. In fact, it's Hanrahan that takes the tackle centre field. Here's Davies showing a good clean pair of heels. Out for ground. Pass back infield for Camero. One-handed pass back infield, but the referee had already ruled the forward pass. And that's where that enterprising Balmain attack breaks down. We have an injured player on the ground. And what a blow that will be for the Port Moresby side. Gibdon Kotaru, who did more than 15 tackles in that first half, Graham Hughes. Coming across here in cover, that's where the injury was sustained.
Well, plenty of enthusiasm across there in cover, and when they haven't been Wayne Pearce, they haven't been enthusiastic. The execution hasn't been all that good.
Yeah, they've certainly been keen, but they just haven't got the teamwork together. I really don't think... Well, they've played a couple of games against the other states in the qualifying rounds, but they really just haven't got the teamwork out there, and it's quite evident in their defence.
Great learning from them. What is the things that...
Well, the things that both teams will pick up. The Papua New Guinea guys will certainly learn a lot about the pace of the game, and for us, we've got a lot of young guys out there tonight on display, and they'll certainly experience and get rid of those nerves that perhaps have sort of shown in their game. This game in first grade, in particular, a big rap to Brucey Sinclair, the second rower. He's having a huge game, and Peter Camero, the halfback who came on to replace Scotty Gales, had a sensational game since he's been on there as well.
Great start for Balmain. We keep on, I was just mentioning to Steve Roach in the second quarter, Balmain certainly clearing out in 87.
Well, we're not that far ahead as yet. We're only one win in front, but we've got the bye coming up after this weekend's round. So if we get through St George this weekend with a win, we then go into the bye. We're sort of looking pretty good, yeah.
No major injury worries for Wayne Pearce?
No, hopefully not. It's not semi-final time yet. They usually come around semi-final time.
Your visit to Disneyland's over.
Yeah, that's all right now, yeah.
Okay, thanks, Wayne.
So Wayne Pearce being rested from this match tonight as the ball's taken up by Waketsi, the second row forward for Port Moresby. Roy Henny is the man that goes into dummy half. He runs on his own. Taken over the top in the tackle that time by Bruce Maguire. Waketsi out to now. Tequila, the little 5'8" with a kick over the top. Camro picked it up beautifully for Balmain, coming across in cover. And he's taken on the halfway line. Elias with the wraparound. Elias again. Maguire. Look for the support on the outside of Mike Marquito. Hardwick. Camro for Bevan. In turn for Conlon. Davies. Got the pass back for Humphreys. And again, another good solid tackle by Kururu, the lock forward. Bevan from dummy half. Camro. Beautiful pass for Sinclair. Marquito. Clark. And Clark wrapped up inside the 22. Elias directing traffic out there for the Tigers. Swinging it back towards the grandstand side. Davies met headlong in the tackle by Joe Tepp. Elias, Camro for Conlon, running onto the ball as Bevan. Good pass for Grounds, and he's taken only about a metre short of the line. So Balmain really launching attacks and raids on this Port Moresby side. They go again through Camro, a darting run by the little halfback, but coming in from the wing is Soy to wrap him up with the assistance of the big prop forward Joe Tepp. So we'll see the scrum go down, only about 5 metres out from the Port Moresby line. Balmain leading by 28 points to 2. Scrum win to Port Moresby. The scrum wheeled around by Balmain. Here's a try by Camro. Made it look so easy. Balmain wheeled the scrum, came up with possession, and the reserve grade halfback from Balmain, Peter Camro, comes up with try number 6 for the Balmain Tigers. It came all so easily as the scrum wheeled. No defence there whatsoever. And that's the easiest of tries.
This certainly won't be the national Panasonic try of the match, but full credit to the Balmain pack. They had a chance to win against the feed. Plenty of power, and whilst the name of Peter Camera goes down as a scorer, I'm sure he's going to be the first to put up his hand and thank his entire pack. 6 forwards who just steamrolled over Port Moresby. All he had to do was pick up the ball.
Well, that he did. He came limping back towards halfway, but that's a young player that Coach Bill Anderson has enormous raps on. And so far he's answered the call, coming on for a replacement for Scotty Gale. Ross Conlon with the ball placed. He's been in superb touch with the boot tonight. Very rarely do we see Ross Conlon with an off day with his kicking boots, as the Port Moresby side in the huddle in their own in goal. Conlon with that characteristic little stammer before he comes in. He makes no mistake again. So 5 goals from 6 attempts for Ross Conlon. The scoreline at Leichhardt Oval. Balmain lead this match by 34 points to 2. Well, Graham, one thing that wouldn't have pleased Bill Anderson in that first half, though, the handling errors, 9 to Balmain, 7 to Port Moresby. Remembering they are leading this Winfield Championship in 1987, and I know that he wanted to really take control of the ball in this football match, and that's one aspect of play that probably doesn't please him.
Whilst a game like this, yes, I have to agree with you, David, whilst a game like this continues to give them a great opportunity to have more than a training run, as it is tonight, 34 points to 2 on the scoreboard already. What it does tend to do, it can create bad habits, and they are trying to force on a lot of occasions passes, but that's very simply because the smell of tries is always there, and they're trying to keep the ball alive.
Here's Elias running again from dummy half. Around the legs went Waketsi, the second row forward. Camro with the long spiralling kick. This should bounce towards the right. In fact, it's proved me wrong. It's gone infield. Taken by Trewanti, the fullback. He tries to run it up towards the 22. Beats Hardwick's tackle, but finally wrapped up in a good one from Marquito. Soy, the man in a dummy half. Kururu running now. Marquito wraps him up. Over the top went Davies as well. And now we have Matt Milo, the second row forward, a dummy half. He just ran straight into the tackle of Davies and also Sinclair. Henny now a dummy half. Out through now the halfback, through Keeler. Keeler now out to Kavai. Kavai with a stepping run. Finally goes to ground on the tackle. So Port Moresby again camped down inside their own 22. And that's the replacement forward, replacement player Ivara takes play outside that danger area. And we see Balmain caught up inside the 5 metres. And a penalty goes, in fact, to Port Moresby. So Dadi Kovai to look for touch on that far side. And that will find touch about 2 or 3 metres short of the halfway line. It's 34 points to 2. Balmain led by 10 points to 0 at the end of the first quarter. They increased that lead by 18 points in the second. And they've added a try and a conversion in the third quarter that's 9 minutes old. Port Moresby on the attack, and I'm sure Graham Hughes at the crowd here at Leichhardt Oval would really warm to this Port Moresby side should they break this Balmain defence.
You can almost feel the crowd just sitting back waiting for something to happen and give these guys a bit of a cheer. Their kicking game's been sadly lacking tonight. When they have kicked, all they've done is continue to turn this ball around to Balmain inside their own half. What they've got to do is try and upset these guys with some short kicks. I talked to Scotty Gale at half-time. He said these guys certainly don't lack any pace out wide, and he's expecting them to just little chips over the top, the inside backs to go searching for that ball, because they certainly have the pace out wide.
There's Kepi Sai, stepping run on halfway, came to Davies and was wrestled to the ground. Now the halfback, a dummy half for Kovai, with the kick that turns the Balmain defence around. That looks as though it will go in touch. No, it won't. It's fielded in the in goal. So the pressure comes back onto the Balmain side, about 5 metres out from their own line, as Humphreys runs the ball from dummy half. Over the top went the second row forward, Matt Milo. Underneath again, that prominent figure of Karuru. Camro runs from dummy half, got around Watkisi, but taken by Kovai in the tackle. Balmain working it again from Elias and dummy half. Taken upfield by Maguire. He's already scored a try in this match so far. Marquito is a dummy half. Here's Elias. Long kick downfield that'll bounce inside the 22. It's taken by Krawanti, the fullback. Lost the ball. Here's a chance for Balmain. Sinclair got through the tackle of Soy, got it to Davies, and an error by Port Moresby costs him another try, as Peter Davies, yet another in this side, goes over for Balmain's 7th try. Watch it again on the National Panasonic replay. It came very, very easily indeed from an unforced error in the Port Moresby side. Krawanti fielded the ball inside his 22. But full credit to the defence of Balmain here. The ball was jolted loose. Sinclair ran away from Keeler, the 5'8". Soy came with the tackle. He got it away to Davies. There was still some willing cover coming in the form of Henny, the captain, but a try once again to Balmain.
And the old adage that a kick is only good as its chasers. On this occasion, there was 4 and 5 Balmain Tigers well downfield, waiting for the error. It came in the shape of the mistake by the fullback, Krawanti, and there they are in shot. 4 and 5 Tigers, all supporting the man with the ball. A good chase.
So Peter Davies, as you saw in the National Panasonic replay, scoring yet another try for Balmain. Ross Conlon thoroughly enjoying this performance tonight. This time he is not on target. And so the scoreline, as we look at it at Leichhardt Oval, Balmain leading this first round clash of the National Panasonic Cup by 38 points to 2.
Make sure the name on your videotape.
So as we welcome you back to Leichhardt Oval, play about to get underway again. Kick off this time by Tony Keeler, a former Papua New Guinea junior international, played tests against Australia and New Zealand late last year in the role of halfback tonight, playing for Port Moresby at 5'8". Peter Grounds taking the ball up midway between the half and the 22. That's Marquito. Busted through the tackle of the replacement player Ivara. Got the ball away to Sinclair, who takes play over the halfway. Here's Elias showing the ball, lacking support, stood the 5'8" Keeler up, got the pass away to Grounds. Grounds with Krawanti to beat, but a good saving tackle by the Port Moresby fullback. Bumps the Balmain winger into touch inside the 22. Again on the National Panasonic replay, Elias really ran out of support, but did find a willing worker in the right winger, Peter Grounds. But watch this tackle coming across in cover. copybook stuff. Scrum win to Port Moresby. And Mayola now runs away from the scrum base. Waketsi takes the tackle. Now for Matt Milo. And he's taken in the tackle just outside the 22 by Sinclair. Now again a dummy half. There's the situation in the scrums and penalties. Balmain trailing in the scrums. It's all level in the penalties. But Balmain have won 2 scrums against the feed from the international hooker Benny Elias. Ivara, the man playing the ball to Keeler. It's out for Henny, the captain. Ball trapped out that time by Hanrahan. And he ran to his opposite number, Sai. And he's driven to the ground. Davies. Again, a good tackle by Kepi Sai. Camero ran from dummy half. Third tackle in a row by the Fijian centre Sai. Elias switching the blind side through Clark and then in turn for Conlon. Over the top went Kovai, picked up this time by the right winger Sauna. But the foot into touch on the far side, and that's where we'll see the scrum go down. I thought, Graham Hughes, that maybe the 4 quarters of football might have assisted the Port Moresby side, but going in at half-time at 28 points to 2, it was a forlorn cause, wasn't it?
Well, it was a forlorn cause, and the way they fall down in their game is that they make too many mistakes in their own quarter line. It's from the quarter line of each end of the field, they seem to hold their own. We can go through the Balmain tries tonight, and not too many of them have been long-range efforts. Just errors in their own quarter. That's something that's got to be rammed home to them if they're going to try and consolidate and make a place in the National Panasonic Cup. That all important, it's desperation stakes when we're defending our own quarter line.
So it's 38 points to 2 as we approach the last 5 minutes of the third quarter here at Leichhardt Oval. And now we see a chance for Port Moresby to get into Balmain's end of the ground. They're very slow to try and launch this attack. As you can see, only one man in picture at the moment. Let's see what they can do. Taken up this time by the second row forward, Waketsi. 3 straight penalties to Port Moresby in this third quarter. 3-man tackle by the Balmain defenders. Henny a dummy half. Long floating pass to Keeler, the 5'8", the chip over the top. Camero came back in cover for the Balmain side. Beat one tackle. Oh, and knocked on this time by the fullback Humphreys. So these are the handling errors we spoke about earlier in this third quarter that wouldn't be pleasing Coach Bill Anderson so early in the tackle count. And Humphreys was the offender on that occasion. So scrum feed by Moala now. Referee Anderson not happy with the feed. Handling errors, 13. That's not a good statistic for Balmain. Oh, that's a great little run by Kovai. Conlon pulled him down, picked up by Keeler. Finally, it's out on the wing to the right winger, Sauna. He's up over the 22. Sauna close to the line. Desperate defence by Balmain. Now a dummy half. Pass outside this time to Kovai. A stepping run by the centre three-quarter from Port Moresby. Unloaded it to now again. He had the support of Cottaru, but went on his own and taken in the tackle by Hardwick. Kovai, long pass. Oh, and nearly the intercept. Picked up this time by Tep, the prop forward. Finally out to Soy, and he spilled it. Well, there was the opportunity, Graham Hughes, for the try that we've been wanting and the crowd's been wanting here at Leichhardt, but again, it broke down.
They showed some great skills in these last 2 sets of 6 tackles, backing the man up with the ball, able to unload when they were being tackled, and just that final pass that was put down there by Soy, and a big smile on the face of Benny Elias. That was the man hoping to get there in cover defence.
So Camero with the feed for Balmain. It's a scrum weed, a good strike by Elias. Camero running from the base of the scrum. He ran straight to Tony Keeler and was wrapped up in the tackle. Bevan now for Humphreys, the fullback. Ran to Kovai, and he was taken ball and all. Oh, there's the steal, but the penalty goes against Port Moresby. And Dari Kovai trying everything to try and win back possession for the Port Moresby side. So Peter Camero is the man that will look for touch on the far side of Leichhardt Oval, with his side leading by 38 points to 2. We're about 2 minutes short of three-quarter time here at Leichhardt Oval. Balmain with this game well and truly wrapped up. Second appearance, of course, in the National Panasonic Cup from the Port Moresby side. Last year they were defeated by 66 points to 10 by Eastern Suburbs in the corresponding match at Lang Park. Here's Balmain on the attack again. Bevan bumped through the tackle of Kovai, but he hung on to him and took him to ground inside the 22. So what will we see? The plan of attack for Balmain. They switch towards the open side again with the wraparound with Elias. A long pass to Conlon. Humphries is in the line. But finally, Hanrahan's the man taken in the tackle. Marquito a dummy half. Balmain still on the attack. Elias hung onto it, got it away to Sinclair. Searching for his second try. Benny Elias. Threw the pass again for Conlon. Nowhere to go. Unloaded the pass again for Elias. Balmain keeping the ball alive. Elias came to Kovai. And finally that Balmain movement is impeded by the Port Moresby defence. Sinclair from dummy half, searching for try number 2. He's over. Under the post. So finally that defence had to break again. And Bruce Sinclair comes up with his second try of the night as we watch it on the National Panasonic replay. Here it comes, Elias searching for the opening. The little goose step. Kovai finally put him on the ground. And watch now for Sinclair from dummy half. Port Moresby very slowly regrouping. Sinclair spotted that, ran through some feeble defence of Joe Tepp, the prop forward, and Cottero, the lock forward, and another try to Balmain. And the conversion attempt makes the score 44 points to 2 here at Leichhardt Oval, with another conversion by Ross Conlon. Well, again, Graham, we saw from broken play Port Moresby's defence stretched. It's not as though Balmain have scored tries from really throwing the ball around and breaking the defence out wide. It's just that lack of discipline around the edge of the ruck.
They were attacking the Balmain line. They lost the ball. Their consistency's just not there. They're just not used to the pace of Sydney football. And we see Balmain turn around and score at the other end. And that third quarter scoreline of 44 points to 2.
Well, 2. And Graham, here's another change to the Port Moresby side.
There's 2 changes, actually. The winger, Sauna, number 5, is off. Also, Wakitsi is missing. The replacements in is Perikiki, and in 16, Medidu. And for Balmain, Ross Conlon is off. Bruce Sinclair has gone into the centres. I've got Billy Anderson with me right now. Bill, this is better than a training run.
Well, it is better than a training run, Graham, so long as no one gets injured. Scotty Gale came up with a bit of a cork just on above the knee quarter, and that was a bit of a problem. We had to keep him going for a little while, and we'll have to see how Scott comes up. Ross Conlon slightly aggravated his ankle, which he went into the game with, but he should be okay.
If handling errors, though, a chance of bad habits for the weekend, maybe?
Well, I think you always take the risk that you're going to drop the ball when you try to move the ball around a little bit, and we tried to push the ball around. We felt there were areas of our game that needed attention, and we tried to correct those tonight and tried to address more mistakes.
A great line through the Balmain depth, though, being shown tonight by the reserve grade.
Yeah, I thought a lot of the players played very well. I was particularly impressed with Bruce Sinclair. I hadn't seen much of this before I became coach this year, but I think he's certainly a first-grade footballer.
No easing up. You're not going to let this Port Moresby mob across the try line?
Graham, I can honestly say it's the first time as a coach I've ever really cheered for the opposition to score a try. I think the whole crowd here tonight would like them to score a try, but we're not going to lay down for them. If they're going to get one, they're going to have to earn it.
Well, David Fordham, that's saying a lot coming from Billy Anderson.
Graham, does he?
He certainly doesn't.
Okay, well, Balmain, in fact, scored 8 tries so far in this match and steadily increased that lead. They led by 10 points at the quarter time. They increased that by a further 18 points at half-time, and another 16 points scored in the third quarter. And another handling mistake by the Balmain side, but this time Camero comes up with the ball as the man went low was Moala, now the little halfback for the Port Moresby side. Sinclair running out wide, that's Hanrahan, but again some good cover across there by the Port Moresby cover defence, and that sees another Balmain attacking move come to an abrupt end through a great tackle by Kepi Sai. So the scrum to pack down about 10 metres out from the Port Moresby 22. A scrum feed by Moana now. It's one against the head. Camero darts from the back of that scrum and runs to Tony Keeler before he wraps him up in the tackle. Balmain working play inside the 22. John Owens was the man that was taken in the tackle. Now Elias out for Sinclair. They move it nicely now. It goes out through Owens again. It's back now with Davies. Davies looks for support but can't unload the pass. Elias a dummy half. Marquito cut out Sinclair, gave it to Clark. Oh, it came off Bevan's head. And finally the little fullback Arnold Krawati takes play about 5 metres out from the Port Moresby line. 44 points to 2 as we see it again on the national Panasonic replay. Straight off the head of Paul Bevan and picked up on his own in goal by the Port Moresby fullback. Henny was the man, the dummy half, playing it back this time. That's the replacement forward, Midudu. Loss of possession, dived on this time by Paul Bevan. Balmain on the attack through Marquito. That's Hardwick. The little halfback, Elias, a dummy half. Camro, Elias, through the dummy, bursts through some feeble defence. Benny Elias set sail for the line. And a try this time by Peter Camro, backing up, scoring try number 2, the little halfback, since he came on for Scotty Gale. But again, let's give full credit to little Benny Elias, who's having a field day out there. We see Camro Elias work the double play here, the dummy, and watch for the great support play again on the inside by Camro. Unselfish play by the Balmain hooker to allow the halfback to score his second try in this match.
Excellent ball skills again by Benny Elias. A note for everybody, I'm sure all the players in the Sydney Winfield Cup are aware of it. When Benny Elias shows the football, the defensive line's got to go right in and meet him. You just can't hold back because he's going to lay those tries on. And another try there for Balmain, this time converted by Benny Elias.
Well, you can tell Benny is the captain out there. Claimed the conversion attempt straight away and makes it 1-for-1 for Benny Elias. Yet to score a try, but he's had a hand in about 4 or 5 in a great all-round performance. So the applause went up for the Balmain 50. Oh, that's a dreadful mistake. And not a bad score. About 65.
Well, they're a little bit behind the clock. I'm not quite sure what that footy tab pool is going to pay. They were going for scores of 49 plus and none against. Well, that's been broken with the 2 points on the board, but there's going to be somebody well endowed with a lucky combination at the end of the night.
So Balmain with a chance to launch yet another attack. They've scored 9 tries in this National Panasonic Cup match so far, as Hanrahan takes the ball up towards the quarter line. Once again, Elias goes into dummy half. It's out through Camro and in turn for Clark. And he goes charging upfield, met in the tackle by the replacement player, Evara. Now Elias again, switching players. He's constantly done in this match. It goes out this time again. Switch again. There's Elias in the action. He cannot stay out of it tonight. And again, Evara with the good tackle with Karuru, the lock forward. Balmain moving it quickly through Bevan. Maguire was running out wide looking for the ball. He's already tasted the smell of 1 try tonight. 1 of 9 scored by Balmain. Camro out for Davies. Sinclair looming in support, but Davies takes the tackle out wide. Watch for the kick for Benny Elias. Runs from dummy half. Camro turning again for Marquito. Finally for Owens. The ball's jolted loose and taken away by Evara, the replacement player in this Port Moresby side. So they're back in possession of the ball, 5 metres out from their own line. Karuru ran from dummy half. For Little now the halfback, but he's wrestled to the ground by Owens and also by Paul Clark. Evara has really involved himself since he's come on as replacement in the Port Moresby side. Slowly to his feet. Henny. Long passes. Port Moresby try to work it out away from the danger area near the goal line. Tep, the prop forward, wrestled to the ground by Clark. Now, with the ball, got it away to the replacement forward, Midudu. Stepping run this time by Covey. Hardwick was the man that went low. About 12 minutes remaining. There's another dreadful mistake. Henny comes back, the captain of this side, got the kick in. Where's it going to go? Camro searching for try number 3, kept the ball alive. But the referee has ruled the penalty for obstruction. And the penalty, in fact, will go to Port Moresby. Well, quite an interesting tactic from the captain there, Graham. He used a little chip kick from his own goal line.
Well, at all costs, these Port Moresby guys like to try and clear this football away. I'm not quite sure where he was trying to place that one. At one stage there, it could have gone straight to a Balmain man for a try, but I think they've probably got to go back to the things that Scott Garr said. With so much pace in their side, I can't understand why they just haven't tried to use the little chip kick and try to tee up a couple of runners out wide. Their long kicking game just doesn't work for them. All they've done all night is hand the football over to Balmain. So a little chip kick, put on a little bit of variety here for what's left of this fourth quarter. What, 11, 12 minutes?
Oh, there's a high tackle, Graham Hughes. Just one thing I noticed, Peter Davies is limping quite heavily out there in the centres, and Bill Anderson's already used his full complement of replacements.
Yes, problems for Peter Davies. I think if he has got any major concerns at all, he certainly would be better off if he gives a nod here to Peter Grounds and shifts out onto the wing. I know he noticed him again moving out wide. Maybe he might grab Hanrahan on the left wing and force him in one.
Well, there's Soy with the tap restarted. It goes out through now into the replacement Medidu, and he takes play up 10 metres into Balmain's end of the ground. Well, and now again at dummy half, they come on the open side, taken up this time by the second row forward Matt Milo, and he's met in a great tackle by Clark and also by Camro. Tep out now for now. Keeler, Kovai, lovely pass from the fullback from Wanty. Here's a chance as Sai speeds upfield. Sai stood the fullback up. Here's the try thereafter. Tremendous try by Port Moresby, and the crowd here at Leichhardt Oval warm to their great attacking skill. Well, it's worth looking at on the national Panasonic replay. And full marks to the great finishing by Sai. It came across with now to Keeler, to Kovai. The fullback for Wanty came in the line. And look at the way that Kepi Sai stands the fullback, humps back inside, shows a clean. Sinclair tried to mow him down. Great try.
Billy Anderson got his wish as the Balmain coach. He said everybody in this ground tonight was waiting for this side to score a try. Great hands out in the back line. A line ball pass there to Sai that put him into the clear. He had all the room in which to work in. He had Humphries on the wrong foot, and he showed a great step there to get around his man, and plenty of pace, as Scott Garland was saying all night. They've got plenty of pace out wide.
And while we've been looking at the national Panasonic replay, Dari Kavai kicks his second goal of the night, and all of a sudden 50 points to 8.
Sometime.
Well, the man that had in that Moresby coming back was the fullback, and the man that just took the tackle, Krawanti. He hit the line at great gusto, but fabulous finishing, and I'm sure that they'll go back to Port Moresby with recollection. But an injured player coming off, Graham Hughes, you might be able to report on that in a moment. But as play goes on, Keeler with Kovai. Kovai puts the ball into touch. Who's the player that left the field?
The man that left the field was Roy Henney, the skipper of the Port Moresby side. The man out there is replacement in 17, Matthias Kittimon.
Well, Kittimon played test matches against Australia, or the test match against Australia last year. He's played 4 tests in all for his country and toured New Zealand in 1980.
Remaining maybe one more try from this Balmain side.
Well, Peter Grounds came to grief there, but appearance is okay. I thought he may have injured an ankle as the tackle taken by John Owens, the man that went around the ankle. Around again was Keeler. Elias in general play. Back goes Soy, the left winger for Port Moresby, fielding the ball inside his own 22. He's with the Air New Guinea club in Port Moresby. He's in his first year of senior football in grade football. Replacement Ivara takes the tackle of Bevan. Soy goes to dummy half. For now, the halfback. Oh, and that was knocked on that time as Hardwick picks it up inside the 22. Balmain on the attack again. And this poor little fullback for what he's had plenty to do in this quarter. Maguire. Long pass from Camro. Stepping run. Side. Sinclair left it behind him. And back in field. That should be 6 more tackles. Will the referee rule the double knock on? He's allowed play to go on. And the man coming up with it is Tony. Joe Tep goes to dummy half, working the open side again through Avara. Runs to Benny Elias and also to Bruce Maguire. Joe Tep. And the penalty goes against Balmain for trying to rake the ball back in that tackle. And I think the crowd would like to see the quick tap taken here, but Kovai at half. The scoreline was 28 points to 2 in favour of Balmain. Midudu takes the ball up. Well, all the players on the field at the moment, with the exception of Maguire and Sinclair, are local Balmain juniors, which is a great credit to this club. Remembering they're on Field Cup after 8 rounds. Karuru taken by Marquito, got the pass away. Soy cut out now, gave it to Keeler, knocked on by Kovai, and Hardwick dives over the top, but the referee will allow the play to go on through Sinclair. Elias goes from dummy half, came inside Keeler, but he and Tep come back to wrestle him to the ground. 10 metres out from the 22. Into the final 5 minutes. Davies, the pass out through Camro. And that is a mistake, Graham Hughes, that would not please Bill Anderson.
Well, this is the sort of thing that Port Moresby have been sweating on. Another mistake by Balmain, this time near their quarter line. They've been making Port Moresby pay on plenty of occasions tonight. This Port Moresby side seems to come along.
So the scrum feed will be fed by the replacement player Peter Camro. The scrum's favouring Port Moresby to the tune of 11 to 9. But Benny Elias has taken at least 2 against the feed as Humphreys looms up on the blind side. Got the pass away this time to Peter Davies. He's been limping out there, so now has moved to the left wing. Remembering that Bill Anderson has used the full complement of replacements. Marquito up towards halfway. Wrestled to the ground that time by Midudu, the replacement player. Now Elias with a chip. Not a good one. It's been stolen this time by McMillo. Got the pass away to Avara. Here goes Kevin Hardwick. Makes inroads into the Port Moresby defence. They're all queuing up for the tries. Benny Elias would love one. Finally, it's back for the replacement player, John Owens. And that's another try, the 11th for Balmain. And would you believe it, when you look in the National Panasonic replay, the man that unloaded the final pass again was none other than the Balmain captain, Benny Elias. But the early work was done by Hardwick. He made big inroads into the Port Moresby defence. They were queuing up here. Bevan was there, Elias was there. Elias got the pass, changes the direction.
Matter of just following Benny Elias tonight.
Yeah, he's a great player, and he's just playing.
Right, for yourself tonight, you've won $1,000 worth of the Panasonic bike. You have, as I say, $1,000, highly high-tech, state-of-the-art, and fully endorsed by your own skipper, Wayne Pearce.
Great, thanks a lot.
All right, now, thanks to Bruce Sinclair, our National Panasonic. The match, of course, Bruce joins all the others who stay alive in the Panasonic Superstar points for 1987, and here's Victoria Nichols to tell them what they might win. Well, of course, a big scoreline tonight for Balmain.